Hello there, friends and family, and dear people on the internet. I'm at Adiyogi in Isha Yoga Center. Spent my first day here in the ashram as a visitor, not as a volunteer in this time. And this morning I tried to make a video about how it was to be at the Ecstasy of Enlightenment event. And I got interrupted by our hotel owner who came in to ask something, and we had a whole conversation. So that video broke off in a kind of weird spot, and I figured I would just continue where I left the track. So I was talking about how during the Ecstasy of Enlightenment event I had eye contact with Sadhguru, and he gave me two completely different versions of himself or of reality in its whole. The first time I looked into his eyes, I saw pure life, and he was talking about Shiva as a dancing god. So here at the Adiyogi statue, every night there is a video screening onto the statue where the whole story of Adiyogi is explained. And for those who don't know, Adiyogi is the first yogi, literally means that. So the first one who understood the science of yoga experientially and also was able to transmit it to others. So apart from first yogi, he's also the first guru, the first one who energetically put this science into another physical human being for them to experience the union of the universe within themselves. And the first time I looked into Sadhguru's eyes, he was talking about how Shiva is a dancing god, and this relates to the sound check, I hope.
When intensity peaked,
they're doing a sound check, let me pause.
Dimensions that no one had ever known or able to fathom. His ecstasy and intensity allowed him to transcend his physical form. Witnessing an individual human in union with the cosmos, they called him a yogi, as he was the first one.
Now you got a little fragment of what it is like. This is only the audio to the whole spectacle, but it's quite impressive. And so at some point Sadhguru explains that Adiyogi is in bliss and ecstasy full time, and he usually just sits still without moving a single limb, without blinking even. But when his ecstasy allows him some movement, he is dancing wildly. So that's why Shiva also appears in the form of a dancer, or Shiva is a dancing god and one of the only ones in the human history. And what's the name of Shiva as a dancing god? I can't remember. Maybe it will pop into my mind later. Lots of people have been talking about this to me. Anyways, Sadhguru was talking about this while he was moving his energy towards me, or at least gazing into my eyes for, let's say, 3 seconds. And I felt very elated when this happened, and immediately a lot of inspiration came up, and also ways of interpreting this, because it didn't feel like a coincidence that he was looking into my eyes while saying these exact words about Shiva as a dancing god. And I have been thinking about going to learn dance styles and going to Osho's ashram, because there apparently they have dance practices, or going to Auroville where you can learn Bharatanatyam. You know, all the things that interest me here in India in some way also relate to artistry. And this brought me back to the beginning of my spiritual path, where I was writing about Shiva all the time and making art about Shiva all the time. And this dancing theme was very prominent, because it's not only Shiva, the first yogi, who is dancing on top of Mount Kailash, but also the metaphorical meaning of it, which is that the universe is dancing constantly, and behind that there is an immense stillness which is steering the way of the dance. And so I can become still in meditation, but sometimes I feel that I am actually more still when I'm moving. And this is something that I want to explore more. So this morning I was talking about the fact that if I enter a space that is energized, immediately my body starts spinning. And not only this, but my limbs want to move. And sometimes they really want to move in a clear direction without me steering it and without me having any choice about this. So yeah, it's also something that just makes me really happy to do and makes me feel confident and embodied more. So I guess that is kind of a pointer to my journey here in India so far, that I'm going to seek out places where I can explore this terrain of dance as a spiritual practice more. Then secondly, when he looked into my eyes the second time, it was way shorter and it felt like a rejection. It was painful and it also felt quite endangering in some way. So I haven't figured out exactly what I saw in him, but I think it was death. And I think it was just that there was really nothing inside of this man, and that I found that pretty scary. And also, the words or the thoughts that I had in mind when he looked into my eyes the second time were something like, it's not about you. So I was on this trip in my mind about, okay, Sadhguru looked into my eyes and feeling very high, feeling energized, also feeling like, ooh, he looks into my eyes, and, little ego trip around that. And then he looked back and kind of killed that immediately. Like, yes, dancing is a path for you, but no, it's not about you. It's still a spiritual path and essentially leads to disillusion. And so he showed me kind of the emptiness or the death, which is the captain of the ship, even if you're dancing. And I felt my Dhyanalinga pendant flare up. So I'm wearing this. Let me show it. I've been wearing this pendant ever since I was here the first time, which is a little less than a year ago. And it signals strongly, or it very much relates to my own emotional state. And sometimes when I'm at peaks of intensity in my life, this really flares up with energy. And then I feel it like it's burning on my skin. And this happened just after I looked into Sadhguru's eyes for the second time. It was there for half an hour, very, very strongly. And I thought back to the last time this happened, and that was somewhere in January, where I was contemplating the concept of death and terrified of it at the same time. And I felt this pressure on my chest, which I think is just pure anxiety and pure fear, because it's something that my mind can't put its hands upon and really cannot grasp. That in some sense, apparently, death is within life, or nothingness is within life. And this complete falling apart is what is needed to access it. It's a scary idea to die. I don't think about death often. I'm not worrying about it. But I know that when I see it, especially in someone else's eyes, it freaks me out a little bit. So yeah, that was kind of something that has been with me ever since. The impact of this death stare, and also the stare full of life just before that, and the contrast of these two, and how to manage that within myself. And then on the other hand, the whole event was just absolutely blissful and ecstatic, and the whole Terraform arena in Bangalore, the space was filled with such a beautiful energy. And it really permeated through all of my cells individually. I don't think I've ever felt that much of a shiver on such a cellular level. So I felt really relaxed, and also, for example, in Vipassana, where you study the details of all your physical sensations, you have a very, very sharp awareness. But this was something different, something that just penetrates you, and you kind of start floating within yourself. So yeah, that was a very, very, very nice experience, and I'm so happy that I got to see him, and I got that.
Adiyogi
Oh,
will begin shortly. We
shortly.
request you all to kindly move to the seating area.
Let me finish this video then.
Namaskaram.
The go break. Anyways, day after that, I went to the Bangalore ashram once again, and same evening I took a night bus to Coimbatore, and now we are today. So on this night bus I didn't sleep, I didn't close my eyes. Well, I tried to close my eyes, but I didn't catch any sleep, not for a single minute. So my body is exhausted and my back doesn't have the strength anymore to sit up straight and meditate. But I still feel quite energized, and it's a bit hallucinatory to be here, very strange, because it all went so quick. And we kind of made the decision to come here because we knew, or we heard in the ashram in Bangalore, that Sadhguru would come to Coimbatore for a darshan. So at first we were there thinking that after the Bangalore event he would probably stay in Bangalore for a while. And we were roaming around the ashram, and I actually got to see a bit of the inside and participate in a Guru Puja that was only meant for volunteers, which was very, very beautiful. And yeah, magical things happened there as well. His guidance is everywhere, and you just flow with the energy, and it takes you the exact place where you need to be. And you also need you meet the exact people you need to meet to give you the information that you need for the next steps to flow and happen. So I'm really not making decisions here. It's very strange. It all just happens. And then someone told us, well, actually a Swami said, you can't see him here, he's only here for a private event, but go to Coimbatore because there will be a darshan tomorrow. So tomorrow evening I get to see Sadhguru once again, and maybe look into his eyes once again, third time. That would be great, and I kind of think it's gonna happen, and I know it will bring me a lot of clarity, not necessarily eye contact, but just seeing him again, being in his presence again, and having the energy transmission of a darshan, so he talking and doing his thing on an energy level, whatever that may be. And I don't know where it's gonna lead me. I was very, very happy to be in Dhyanalinga again, but sometime or some way I also kind of feel like I have exhausted this place last year, and it's too early for me to come back and volunteer here. And I've been really enjoying this explorative mood, and just taking the guidance energy-wise of the whole universe to take the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step, and just surrender to this process in full trust that it's gonna bring me where I need to be. And I enjoy just being in it, like with no expectations. Yeah, it's a very beautiful experience. So I don't want to pin down that I will be staying here and volunteer. I thought of doing Devi Seva. Might not happen. Programs might not happen. We'll see what happens tomorrow, what arises. Yeah. And tomorrow I'll also be a bit more fresh and share more profound aspects of my experience, at least if there is anything that I have to share. A lot has been going on, not only in terms of events and facts, but just internally, also emotionally, in terms of the people that surround me, in terms of how I see myself, how I experience myself, and my goals in life. So yeah, looking forward to talk about that more, but I'm going to go to the Divya Darshan right now and see the Adiyogi screening. And I'm sending you all tons of energy from this place and a lot of love, and I hope you can feel the density and the ecstasy a little bit. And I'll just give you a glimpse of the sunset that is happening, if my camera will adjust. Oh gosh, it's time I buy a new camera. This is just my silly little phone, and it doesn't really have a great camera, but you know, you get the concept. Sunset is beautiful. These are the Vilangri Hills. My friend Yentel, who's here with me, wants to climb them someday. They recommend that women don't do this because the energy up there is so intense, because Adiyogi, Shiva, sat there in intense anger. So the physical human body of a woman is not as much capable of bearing that energy as a man's body. So it could have negative impact on the way you start expressing and experiencing yourself. Not pleasant. So I'm not sure yet if I go up there. I'm very curious to go up there, so I don't know if I could hold myself back. We'll see what happens. What more is there to say? Met lots of lovely people in Bangalore, and yeah, I hope you're doing well. Try Miracle of Mind. Try it every day, at least for 1 month, to see the effect. Especially if you're scientifically oriented and you're one of those people who doesn't want to do it because they don't understand the meaning of the words "I'm not the body, I'm not even the mind." The point is not that you understand it and intellectually grasp what is being said. It's a self-integrating process. So there's an energy put into this meditation that you may not be able to feel, but it's very, very present. And the more you do it, the more you will absorb this energy, and the more also this phrase, "I'm not the body, I'm not even the mind," will start to make sense. Not in your mind because you understand it intellectually, but because you start to experience yourself as something beyond your body and mind. And it will go slowly, but if you take a month to really just do it once a day, 7 minutes, it's not that much at all, I can guarantee you that your life will change. I started practicing Isha Kriya. That was the first, the first Isha practice that I continued on a daily basis for mandala, which is 42 days. And that just pulled me out of the slope of my life and put me on a whole new cruise ship altogether, in a whole different direction altogether. And I'm super blessed to be here on that cruise ship. And I feel like there's no way back. And the only way forward is to take you all with me. So please check out the app. If you haven't already, share it with all your friends and family and relatives and people you know, especially those who need it, because it's not designed for no reason. It's because we have a big need of addressing mental health issues, and the current institutions that are working on that don't have the spiritual background which is grounded in a country such as India, and which has been here for so many years, and which is experientially approved of and worked out in so many wonderful ways. Anyways, what I want to say is that we're kind of messing up our mental health, especially in the West, and we really don't know what to do about it. The pills don't work. If you still believe that, please don't. So start opening your eyes for new ways of life. There's cultures in which a lot of input exists around this, and this meditation is a good way in there. So share it. Thank you.